What is going on, guys? We are here for the UFC 322 full card recap, where we had Islam Makhachev wet blanket his way to the welterweight championship. Valentina Shevchenko showing absolute domination, a streak of knockouts on the main card. This card definitely lived up to all of the hype. I'm happy to go through each of these fights with you guys, give you my reactions to them. Maybe I'll even do some matchups for some of the winners. We'll go through the parlays, and then we'll wrap the video up going over the picks. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get the video started with the first fight of the night. We had CAMILO taking on Vyacheslav BORSCHEV. CAMILO won, right? But if I'm going to be honest, I was not impressed with his performance. I felt as though there was still a lot left to do for him. Like, he just didn't do enough, in my opinion. Yes, he secured the takedowns momentarily, but little to no danger threat from CAMILO, and that gas tank is still a worry for me. I'll give him, I'm tired of like giving him slack because, you know, we had the Gabe Green fight where he shit the bed in his debut. He cut weight back in that Abu Dhabi card. He had to cut weight again here. So I'm trying to give him a little bit of leeway, but I don't know, man. That gas thing is a big issue for me, and I definitely see myself fading a CAMILO next time out. It could be a situation similar to like a Myron Santos where he was losing that fight against Francis Marshall. He won, came back out next time against Sadiq Yusuf, and absolutely, you know, corrected the wrong that he did. But for CAMILO here, like, he won again. I was not convinced that, you know, this is a guy who's going to be a dangerous threat in the lightweight division. For him to be unable to finish BORSCHEV with all the takedowns that he had and how gassed he was looking late into that fight, second round he was looking really gassed. I don't know, man. There's still some concerns around CAMILO for me. I'm probably going to fade him next time depending on the matchup. Like, this was definitely a toss-up. I mean, not a toss-up, a bone for him with the grappling inefficiency from Vyacheslav, and for him to not be able to capitalize on it. I gotta fade CAMILO next time out, man. Gas tank is worrisome. The fact that he can't find a finish against a guy who you can definitely finish on the mat. I'm gonna have to fade CAMILO, man. Yeah. He's in the one column, you know, 1-1 in the UFC. We'll see what they give him next. If I had to match him up, I'd probably go like with a Mason Jones, somebody who's going to force a fight and he was going to be up in his grill the entire way, because BORSCHEV was having some success when he was able to make CAMILO stand and fight with him. He was getting some good shots off, digging to the body really well, and that's really what was draining CAMILO. I think a Mason Jones coming off that win against Balaji Oki, I think that's a really solid matchup. Maybe if they don't want to push him too far, but, you know, Mason Jones, this is the second time in the UFC. They're probably going to give him like, hey, you know, prove it fight. I think that's a solid fight, and I definitely will be picking Mason Jones. He'll probably be a slight favorite, but if we see Mason Jones with a plus next to his name, I'm definitely going to be taking him at underdog odds. But again, decent win from CAMILO. I'm not thoroughly impressed. Hopefully we get him. Hopefully we fade him next fight out. Moving on, we have Boxxer SUSURKAEV taking on Eric McConico. Look, third round finish was absolutely phenomenal, but I have to say, man, this dude is a little too cocky for my liking. Like, starting off the fight, he's chilling on the cage like he's back on the block. Like, it was just, I don't know what SUSURKAEV's got going on. And then he comes out and said, oh, I had an ankle injury, so I wasn't able to wrestle as much. He was getting touched up on the feet by McConico. He was cracked a couple of times, big elbows over the top, big shots in the clinch from McConico. It was just too much action from McConico, where we're seeing SUSURKAEV really lazy, really lackadaisical in there as well. I think that, you know, cocky gimmick is definitely going to come back to bite him in the ass within the next 2 to 3 fights. Like, we saw him in the first fight, not the Contender Series fight, but the fight against Eric Nolan, where we gave him a little bit of slack because he fought twice, 4 days, cut weight twice, you know what I'm saying? But he got cracked there. He got cracked here against Eric McConico, who's a guy he should have finished within the first round. Like, this fight should not have extended as long as it did. Granted, there was a nut shot in that third round, but this fight definitely should have ended within 7 minutes. I don't see why it took so long for him to set up the finish. And, you know, McConico's not terrible, but he's definitely not a guy that should have put SUSURKAEV in the third round, in my opinion. I think SUSURKAEV, he's going to have to come back down to reality pretty soon. The matchup for him next, I want to see him fight like a Jordan Santos or Yusuf Belgari, someone he's going to have to respect on the feet because, granted, Jordan Santos doesn't have the biggest power, but he's a dog and he will be in your face. And I think the UFC is going to, give him that matchup and they're going to be like, hey, SUSURKAEV is going to look at it like, man, I'll clean this guy up. But Jordan Santos is a dog, and I want to see SUSURKAEV push to the brink where, wipe that smirk off of his face type of thing. Dude is clean. Like, he's definitely a clean striker. The teeps down the middle were working, flicking that stabbing kick to the body. We saw MCCONICO flinching, getting hurt to the body throughout this entire fight, and then setting up that straight right hand down the middle. It was perfect. Like, the finish was absolutely perfect. But I gotta say, man, SUSURKAEV is going to have to do some humbling because he's too cocky for my liking, bro. And I feel as though there's going to be a guy coming up, not who he's matched up with next, but we'll see within 2 to 3 fights. He called out Bo Nickel. I don't want to see that fight. I don't think the UFC is going to do it. But I can see Bo Nickel taking him down. Bo Nickel looked really good, tonight. We'll get there when we get there, but I don't know, man. I really don't like SUSURKAEV. Like, he really just turned me off of him from this performance. So lazy, so, like, unenthused, getting cracked. It's just not a good time, man. He's definitely going to be somebody I'll be, honing in on the matchups because I think there's going to be a possibility we see this guy laid out. And I don't want to see anyone knocked out, don't get me wrong, unless I got, like, a personal vendetta with him. But I think SUSURKAEV is going to get clipped. The way that he's rolling in the UFC, so unenthused, so disinterested in whatever his opponent's bringing to him, he's going to get knocked out pretty soon. Mark my words. But again, the finish was perfect. Could have been done earlier. It is what it is. MCCONICO, yikes. Whatever, though. Next fight, we got Angela Hill taking on Fatima Klein. Fatima Klein put up a hell of a performance, threatening to finish Angela Hill. Almost got the knockout with damn near 2 seconds left in the fight. Fatima Klein looked really good. The takedowns were working, controlling Angela Hill, doing some damage on the feet, striking her up, piecing her up. Angela Hill looked okay, but she still did look like a 40-year-old woman. And for her to be in there competing with Fatima Klein, it just looked like, hit the nursing home grandma type of performance. Fatima Klein was on her like white on rice. The striking was so clean, bro. She was hitting her with some good power shots. Rocked Angela Hill a couple of times. Fatima Klein is really nice. Putting herself in a really good position. Beating Angela Hill, who was ranked, 12th in the division, I believe. She's putting herself in a good position to, be on track for a title shot. Obviously not right away. There's a lot of mix up at 115, especially with Weili. We'll get there when we get there, but I don't know, man. Fatima Klein, she's got an interesting matchup with a couple straw weights that I'm thinking. I think like a fight with maybe Lupi Godinez or Tabitha Ricci would definitely be interesting. I could see Fatima Klein stinging both of them up on the feet. Tabitha might have a speed advantage, but I could see Fatima still stinging her. Lupi, we've seen Lupi cracked a couple of times. Pilastri was able to crack her. I think Fatima Klein would be able to put her out. Really good performance from Fatima Klein. She looked really good. Her and her training partner, Aaron Blanchfield, got a W on his card. They both looked excellent. Good W for Fatima Klein. Next fight, we have Pat Sabatini taking on Chepe Mariscal. I don't regret the pick. Excuse me. I don't regret the pick at all, man. Chepe, he was able to get controlled in this matchup, and that's ultimately what won Sabatini this fight. But that first round, Chepe looked really gritty, man. He was fighting out of positions, landed the head kick late in the first round, split Sabatini up, busted him up. His eye was all chopped up. I thought they were going to threaten and bring the ref, or excuse me, not the ref, but the doctor in and take a look at that cut, because it was like right over the eye, right over the left eye of Sabatini, I believe. And it was looking pretty dangerous. It was damn near, in like the crevice of his eyelid. So I thought Chepe would be able to win off of damage and just the grittiness, but Sabatini, man, he's like a cinder block when he gets on your back, and he was able to control Chepe Mariscal for a majority of this fight. The takedowns were working. Didn't really offer much in the striking, but he knew once he was able to get Chepe's back or control him on the mat. He wasn't really going to go anywhere. Chepe had more scramble success in their first fight, but Pat Sabatini definitely showed evolution in his grappling in this matchup. Good win for Pat, but like I said, you know, he still is able to get cracked on the feet. The striking is very basic. Chepe doesn't really have the cleanest hands or anything like that, but I do see Pat Sabatini possibly getting clipped pretty soon. So, good win for Pat. Chepe, it is what it is, man. He went on like a 6-year run without losing. You take one every now and then. I think Chepe might as well be back and be looking pretty good. For Sabatini, I could see a fight with like either a Dan Ige or a David Onama. I think a David Onama fight, definitely, since he's going to have to defend his ranking if he is ranked come this Tuesday. You know, Sabatini was damn near on the verge of being ranked. Pretty good back-to-back wins, Chepe and Joe Anderson Brito. Pretty good wins to threaten the ranking with. So maybe they match him up with Onama or Danny Ige even. I think those are pretty good matchups. Ige with the power and the way that Onama is able to fight. He can wrestle, he can strike. I think both of them are live to finish a Pat Sabatini, but Sabatini showing you, man, when he's able to get his hands on you, you're not going anywhere. Good win for Pat. Let's move on to Kyle Dawkins taking on GM3. I'm so pissed, bro. I took Kyle Dawkins round 1 TKO, and he drops GM3 and just jumps on the darts. The darts knight, we all should have known, gets the first round submission within, what, 50 seconds? Not even a minute. Kyle Dawkins 2.0 is a beast, bro. He looked really good. I told you he was going to finish GM3. I don't think a lot of people were picking GM3. If he did, it was definitely by a submission, but GM3's punch resistance is in the gutter right now. 2 back-to-back, well, not back-to-back knockouts, but getting finished back-to-back. We saw the evidence of him fading earlier, probably like 3-4 fights ago. He's probably going to want to hit, you know, that 60 pro fight mark, but I don't know, man. Getting dropped here, getting dropped and knocked out in your last fight, getting choked out here, getting choked out by RDR. It's a lot of damage on GM3. It's a lot of damage. 58 fights. I don't think he should keep fighting, if I'm going to be honest. I think he should retire. He probably won't, though. He's a tough man. You know, he just got knocked out 2 months ago. Came back in here, got clipped and darced in the first round. So I expect him to get another fight, but GM3, the damage is catching up, brother. I think you need to hang it up. Salute to him, you know, and all the performance that he was able to put on, but yeah, not a good look. Kyle Dawkins, I think you got to put him within, you know, the top 20 guys. I think a matchup with like a Boots Magomedov or even a Dustin Stoltzfus would make a lot of sense. I think both of those guys present, you know, some danger on the feet, similar to like the Michel Pieta fight, and they also have some really good wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Only thing with a Boost is you definitely can see him fading in fights. That fight against Michel, he looked pretty bad, and then we saw the Joe Pyfer performance, force him to wrestle, get the submission. So I think Kyle Dawkins is live in both of those fights. Dustin Stoltzfus is a really good, he has really good jiu-jitsu too, and he has power in his hands, but I think Kyle Dawkins could beat both of those guys. Hopefully they match him up. Those are 2 fights that I want to see for Kyle Dawkins. And like I said, Kyle Dawkins 2.0, definitely looking much improved. Shout out to him. Let's move on to the prelim opener. We had Malcolm Wellmaker taking on Ethan Ewing. Malcolm's my boy, man. I know a lot of people are going to call this a fraud check, but you got to take into consideration all the factors around this fight, right? Salute to Ethan, definitely. You know, he came in 48 hours notice, did his thing, looked really good out there. I looked at his tape. He looked really good in his tape too. But you have to understand that, you know, Malcolm was preparing for originally. Let's go through it completely. Originally was preparing for Series City, right? Series City gets injured. Okay. Then we get Cody Haddon. Cody Haddon's pretty good. 2 days before the fight, he breaks his foot. Then they find Ethan Ewing. So that's 3 different game plans that, you know, Malcolm and the team had to game plan for, and able to do that for in 48 hours is definitely difficult. But Malcolm had some success, in the fight. I felt as though he almost knocked him out about twice. Hit him with a big right hand early. Ethan was stumbling, was on the pressure. Both of these guys were mixing it up really well, and it was definitely a dogfight. Ethan Ewing definitely earned a lot of respect, especially with a big upset, the way that he pulled it off. But it's not a fraud check at all. Malcolm showed that he has cardio. He can defend takedowns. A lot of people were, questioning the takedown threat. He got taken down once. I know it says 3, but he really only got taken down once and was able to build back to his feet pretty easily. It was a really good fight, really good scrap. You also have to understand that Malcolm was in his cut while Ethan didn't have to cut weight. I feel as though if Ethan didn't have to cut weight, he probably would have got dropped by both of those big right hands that landed. But respect to Ethan Ewing taking the fight. A lot of people would not have taken this fight on short notice. And, this isn't the last that you'll see of Malcolm. Best believe, he's going to enjoy the rest of the night, enjoy the trip out in New York, and I'll probably see him in the gym Tuesday or Thursday this week. I'm pretty sure, we'll be paying for what happened tonight. But salute to Ethan, salute to Malcolm. For Ethan, I'll say I want to see him fight like a Timmy Kawamba. I think that would be a really good fight. Kawamba's got really fast hands. He's got some wrestling too. Really good combinations. I think that pocket is where both of those guys could flourish too. I definitely want to see Ethan Ewing cut to bantamweight. I want to see him at bantamweight. I want to see what he looks like, how his punch resistance is, off a proper cut too. But yeah, shout out to Ethan Ewing. Did what he did. For Malcolm, I think you could rebook the Cody Haddon fight. I know he is going to be out probably for a couple months. So if not Cody Haddon, we could get another Australian. We could do Colby Thickness. I think that's a really solid fight too. Similar style to what Cody Haddon was going to bring. I think, we'll be more than prepared for either one of those guys whenever they rebook it. We'll probably see Malcolm back springtime, early spring, no later than like April, if I had to take a guess. He loves to stay active, loves to get back in there. And, he didn't really take a lot of damage here. Got one little cut. It is what it is. Ate that knee like it was nothing. Malcolm's going to be back stronger, better than ever. Best believe it. Next fight, we got Erin Blanchfield taking on Tracy Cortez. Erin Blanchfield with the sub in the second round. Putting a statement on her performance, man. First round, I will say, Tracy Cortez was getting the better of her with the striking. Her striking looked a lot faster, and she was just cleaner with the counter shots too. Erin wasn't really able to get the wrestling going in that first round. Tracy Cortez was able to get on the takedowns. She took her down momentarily. They got back to their feet. It is what it is. Cortez was winning majority of the striking exchanges early, but second round, Cortez makes a mistake, shoots a takedown, gets reversed, gets put on her butt. Erin Blanchfield is able to get that rear naked choke sunken in, and definitely made a statement on her claim on trying to get back in that title conversation. She lost to Manon Fiorot not too long ago. A finish here definitely puts her in a really good position. I don't know if she's going to get a title shot off of it because I do believe Natalia Silva is ahead of her. So I think you probably have to do Blanchfield Fiorot too. Because, you really look at the rankings. Let's see if we can pull it up real quick. You look at the 125 rankings for the ladies. This has everybody. You can't really do an Alexa Grasso fight. She's coming off of a loss. You can't do a Jasmine Jasudavicius fight. She just got stung up. I think it's going to have to be Manon Fiorot. I think you're going to have to do the rematch for Blanchfield. To me, that's the fight that makes the most sense. I don't think they're going to do the Macy Barber fight again. I think Macy Barber might be booked anyway. I feel as though you got to do the Fiorot Blanchfield 2 in a title eliminator. I think Natalia Silva definitely deserves the title shot. Valentina actually called her out. So I feel as though that fight makes the most sense for Blanchfield and for Natalia. For Tracy, I don't know. I never thought she was really that good. She's got some pretty decent boxing. Her wrestling is okay, but Erin Blanchfield was a superior fighter. I felt as though sub was live. She gets the sub second round. So shout out to Erin for the finish. Looked really good doing it. Next fight, we got Roman Kopylov taking on RoboCop Rodriguez. I'm not gonna lie, I got into my head on this fight later into the week, but RoboCop did what he needed to do. Kept it in boxing range, was threatening with the takedowns. Did get stung up momentarily one time, but for majority of the fight, he had Kopylov guessing. Very reactive, getting punched, getting stung up. Big right hands down the middle. Had Kopylov, backed and bloodied up. Third round is when we saw a little bit of success from Kopylov. Stung RoboCop, had him do the chicken dance momentarily, but he egged him on. It was like, come on, let's get back in there. Maintained the boxing range, was able to get the combinations flowing, threatened with the takedowns. Like I said, even there was a moment in the second round where Kopylov actually took RoboCop down, forced him on his back, but he threatened a leg lock, and Kopylov was able to get back to his feet. But for majority of the fight, RoboCop was landing the bigger, harder shots, and Kopylov was really on his bicycle. Did set up the head kick about 2 times. Did hurt RoboCop one of those opportunities, but I don't know, man. Kopylov looked really hesitant to pull the trigger, and that's 2 L's in a row against some Brazilian bruisers. And I don't know. I don't know what you do with Kopylov, man. For RoboCop, I think you could do. I wrote down Delidze or Whitaker, and I was scrolling on X. I saw that he called out Whitaker, so maybe that fight makes sense. I definitely would pick RoboCop against Whitaker, but that speed, that's another element. And I don't think Whitaker would be afraid to pull the trigger. Maybe if he gets hit by a big shot, we could see him in a situation of like what DDP was able to do to him, but I don't know. Kopylov looking very scared and timid in this matchup until, he finally pulled the trigger late. RoboCop is one hell of a middleweight, bro. Dude is gigantic. He can wear a lot of damage. He got busted up late into this fight, but not too bad. Kopylov, like I said, was very scared to pull the trigger. Whitaker, RoboCop, or Delidze definitely makes the most sense to me. You got to get him back into that top 15. A finish of Jack Hermanson not too long ago, and then winning a unanimous beat down here of Kopylov definitely deserves some respect. So RoboCop back into the rankings, I think it makes the most sense. Next fight for the prelim finale, we have Bo Nickel with the head kick heard around the world in the third round, man. Bo Nickel, I told you guys he was capable of knocking Rodolfo Vieira out. He looked really good, man. His striking looked really good. The takedown defense looked good. Even slammed Rodolfo early in that first round. Was chopping that lead leg, tagging the body of Vieira. The jab was money. The counters were money. He looked phenomenal. His counter striking looked really good. I told you guys Rodolfo Vieira's kickboxing was not that good. I know he beat Tresean Gore, but again, I'm going to keep saying that a Tresean Gore win does not mean much to me. Bo Nickel looked like the cleaner striker. Looked like he could, Rodolfo couldn't do anything with him in the wrestling department. He tried a takedown attempt. Well, shoot, he tried 6. Couldn't get anything, was forced on his face. And then the third round, set up the 1-2, throws the high kick, and Rodolfo Vieira is out cold, like sleep. And he was the first of many, but boy, when I tell you, when I saw that from Bo, I was thoroughly impressed. I did not think not that he couldn't throw a high kick, but I didn't know that was in the arsenal. And for him to sleep Rodolfo Vieira like that, being the first guy to do it, I'm thoroughly impressed with Bo Nickel. All these mother truckers, like he said, or freaker frackers, whatever he said, corny, but Bo Nickel, man, he's showing that he still got it. He looked like he was in amazing shape, and he looked like, the minus 255 favorite that he was. Definitely a solid pick here. The KO was beautiful too, plus 300 on the KO. Shout out to Bo Nickel doing what he does. What do they do with him though, right? Because you can't really give him a bottom tier type of guy. You got to give him a guy that's top 30, top 25. So I'm thinking like a Shara Magomedov or even an Edmund Shabazian. Both of those guys have clear holes in the grappling defense or wrestling defense rather, but they do have some striking. I think you got to do that matchup. Maybe they give him like an Andre Petrosky. I wouldn't be shocked, but I don't know, man. I like those matchups better. You know, one world wrestling, the other world striking. I think Bo Nickel could have some success. He looked really good. The striking looked good. He was flowing very well. Head movement was solid. Was defending the low kicks pretty well too. I think he could have some success against both of those guys. Just polish a little bit more things up, especially with that jab. If he could get that jab out a little faster or be on it a little bit more. Bo Nickel, Bo Nickel, solid, man. Really solid. Good bounce back W, getting the fans back on the side and doing it in an emphatic KO like the way that he did. I'm thoroughly impressed with Bo Nickel. Shout out to him for the knockout. Main card opener, if you guys haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We had Benoit Saint-Denis sleeping Beneil Dariush in the first round, 16 seconds. I didn't even understand. I'm gonna post a reaction a little later in the week. I thought it was 10 seconds, bro. I was like, was that 10 seconds? BSD over the top. You know, he ate a really heavy leg kick from Beneil too. Beneil was throwing a little reckless off rip. They both were going at it, and you bring a Beneil to a Benoit gun show, I think you're gonna lose 10 times out of 10, and that's exactly what happened here. Benoit over the ear sleeps Beneil Dariush, made him kiss the canvas, put him out, and you know Beneil was up looking at the ref like, what the hell happened? Benoit Saint-Denis is what happened, bro. He's putting on a phenomenal back-to-back W. Like, stopping Rufy and then sleeping Beneil Dariush definitely deserves some respect, bro. He called out for the title shot, but there's a line ahead of him. Like, you know, you got Justin, you got Patty, Armin Hooker. He did also mention the BMF fight, which definitely has me interested. But, you know, you got Max and Charles talking about they want to do a rematch. But Benoit Saint-Denis is definitely back in that superstar status. And for him to go get back-to-back finishes, bro, you can't deny him really, you know, much. I think you do. I think you do. It's either going to be BSD versus Max, if, or it could be BSD Charles. Yeah, I think. Oh, I didn't even write that down. So I wrote down BSD Max or Hooker Armin loser or Justin if he takes the fight. But I think BSD versus Charles is the fight to book. The more that I think about it, that's probably the fight, especially if Max is gonna be out with a little longer. Both of these guys coming off of first round finishes, or excuse me, Charles got what his finish in the second round, but both of them pretty clean, pretty unscathed. I think you could book that fight probably February. BSD Charles is the fight to make, and that's head on collision because neither one of those guys take a back step. I think that's the fight. BSD versus Charles Oliveira. Yeah, I like the sound of that. Shout out to BSD, man. Sleep in Beneil definitely deserves a lot of respect. Next fight, Leon Edwards taking on Carlos the Nightmare Prates. What a knockout, bro. What a knockout. Look, Leon threatened with the grappling early, right? Got on his back, did what he did, but he took him down. But Carlos was not phased by it whatsoever. I told you he takes about 3 minutes to download data, see what he needs to do, and he's going to find that shot. So, Edwards riding the backpack early in the round. You saw Prates had him on his back and was just like, whatever. Was talking to him. Yeah, I'm not here to grapple. I want to fight. I'm trying to knock you the fuck out. And, bro, second round, straight left hand down the middle. Leon Edwards is lifted off of his feet. I never seen somebody get punched and lift off their feet, bro. Prates has crazy power. Crazy power. The way that he was able to knock out Leon Edwards like that and leave his body lifeless, had him smiling up at the ref. Carlos Prates. What do you do at 170, bro? Because you know what happened right after the Prates Edwards fight. What do you do at 170? Prates is one of my favorite fighters, yo. Leon taking two finish losses in a row, 3 losses in a row overall. I don't know, man. I don't know if he's gonna keep going. First time getting knocked out. First time getting subbed back to back. Does Leon still have it in him? I don't know. 170 is full of killers. Like, I'm thinking who's behind him. Buckley. Shavkat's gonna need a fight to come back. Who else is there? I mean, there's no Magni, but like I don't Bonfim. I think a Bonfim could finish Leon Edwards. I don't know what you do with Leon, bro. He's probably gonna be out for a while too. He usually takes a minute to come back. Like I think this was the fastest turnaround that he's had in his career, at least recently. But him getting finished back to back like this, it just does not sit well with me. I think honestly, if I was Leon, I would retire. Like, yo, I won the belt. I got finished back to back, lost 3 times in a row. His last one was Kobe Covington. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you gotta retire. If I'm Leon, if I'm Leon, I'm retiring, bro. 170 is full of killers. I don't want to deal with it. Prates, you gotta give him at least let him be a title fill-in. Let him be the backup for the title shot because yo, he deserves a lot of respect. He has not looked this dangerous since well, he's always looked dangerous. Let me reword that. Like he looks like I can't even put it into words. He looks like he's ready to be a champion. 170 is stacked, yo. Like this is what lightweight felt like a couple years ago, but now we got all of these damn killers at 170. You got Shavkat, Islam, JDM, Michael Morales, Carlos Prates, Bonfim, Sean Brady. There's a lot of contenders at 170, yo. Ian Gary, I forgot about Ian Gary. Not really an Ian Gary fan, but the Law's still in the mix. You know, they fight next week, so there's a lot of contenders at 170. This division was dying not too long ago. Like Leon Edwards was champion. Think about that. And look how easy they just dismantled him back to back. Yeah, you got to get Prates. At least let him weigh in for a title shot. Because I do think the man that came after him definitely made his statement. Michael Morales, Sean Brady. A lot of people were on the Sean Brady train thinking he was just going to wet blanket Michael Morales, but he was amazing, bro. Kept his hips back, avoided takedown threat. Sean Brady, like I told you guys, he doesn't really offer much on the feet, and I really do like Sean Brady. But it sucked to see him get clipped like this, bro. Michael Morales is one of one. This dude is nasty. Now, like I mentioned with the Prates fight, I think Morales will put up a better fight against Islam because of how well he can defend takedowns. A lot of people don't know, but his base is wrestling, bro. And the power that both, well, don't get me wrong, the power that him and Prates have is crazy, but I think the boxing of Morales is a little bit more dangerous. It's more polished. I don't know. Like tossing them up, it's a toss up for who gets the title shot. Both of these guys are finishers. Both of them have a lot of hype behind them. I will say Prates has a little bit more because of the team that he's on, but Morales just made his statement as to who he is. I've been a fan of him since he made his debut. A lot of people have been, under the radar on Michael Morales. I've been a fan of him for a while, bro. And for him to do what I knew he was capable of doing against Sean Brady, definitely made a statement. They said it was a number one contender fight. I think you got to reward him. You got to give him a title shot. You got to give him a title shot. I think he has the best chance out of majority of the guys. Like, I know damn, I forgot Usman's still in the mix, but I don't think Usman will be able to hang with Islam. Like, I can see it going a little similar to like the earlier rounds with Hamzat and Usman. Whereas Morales, he has an equalizer. So does Prates. You know what I mean? Usman doesn't really have an equalizer on the feet. So I think you got to give Michael Morales a title shot. If it's not Michael, it's definitely going to be Prates. I hope they don't fight each other because I'm going to tell you now, I'm not making a pick on that one. Sit back and enjoy. Somebody's going down. I don't know who it is. I think Morales, each shot's a little bit better, but if they have to fight, bro, I don't want to pick. I might skip that week and just be a fan for real because I love both of those guys, yo. Hell of a performance for both of them. Back to back knockouts. Both of them trying to, make the point that they want the title shot. I will say though, Michael Morales, he does load up on shots, and that's something that Islam can exploit, especially when he gets a little trigger happy, sees that he's rocked his opponent. If you were watching in this fight, you saw him starting to swing a little recklessly, and if that was Islam, if he didn't hurt Islam and he gets to swinging like that, Islam can't take him down. But I don't know, man. Morales is dude is nasty. Dude is definitely nasty. Shout out to both of those guys for the finish and definitely making 170 hard to decipher, man. Co-main event of the evening, we have Valentina Shevchenko dominating Zhang Weili. Damn, she looked good doing it too, man. I faded her here. I picked her against Manon, which was definitely a tougher fight. She dominated Zhang Weili. Knees to the body. The high kicks were there. Kicking the body. Takedown threat. Just controlling her. Doing damage. Weili couldn't do anything with her, bro. She couldn't get in range. Every time she got in range, she was getting picked. She was getting a knee. She was getting kicked upside her head. She could not do anything against Valentina Shevchenko. She made this look as easy as could be. Like, definitely showing, yo, Weili, you got to go back down to strawweight because you can't hang with me. I didn't take into consideration, Valentina did fight up at bantamweight, but I don't know, man. I saw signs of decline, but she mentioned that she was injured, so that's probably what it was. That's probably why she looked like she did against Manon. That's probably why she looked like she did against Alexa. But the wrestling was there for Valentina. The striking was there. She was just loaded the entire time. You know that stance that she does, Muay Thai type of stance, just cocked, loaded, and ready to go. And every time that Zhang Weili would enter the pocket, the counter shot was there, straight down the middle, body kicks, the knees. She looked phenomenal. Shout out to Valentina Shevchenko. She looked great. But I tell you, there's a great contender waiting for her in Natalia Silva. I think Natalia Silva could defend the takedowns. Her movement is really tricky against Valentina. I know Valentina stands still in the center of the octagon, but I think Natalia Silva, the way that she's able to flow and move and find shots from the outside, I think it could give Valentina a lot of trouble. She'll probably be sitting there waiting. But, I mean, I faded her here. You're probably going to have to pick her again. She looks great, man. She definitely looked great. She didn't mention any sides of, looking at retirement. She called out like 3 different contenders. I think Natalia Silva deserves it the most, and I was hoping that they would give her a face-off, but I think the UFC is going to have to book that. I think that's the fight to make for Zhang Weili. Go back down to 115. I think you're going to have to, she could fight Mackenzie Dern. I think she could beat Mackenzie Dern and win her belt back. So good performance for Valentina. Definitely dropped, the entertainment level, but I still enjoyed the fight. Valentina looked really good. She did what she did. It is what it is. I didn't give a matchup for Sean Brady. For Sean, what do you do with Sean? I think he can fight the loser of Bilal versus Gary. He didn't get put out like Leon, so he should be all right to fight in a couple of months. So yeah, Sean Brady versus the loser of Gary, Bilal, or I'm trying to think who else to match him up with, but like they're not gonna give him Usman. I don't think they give him Bonfim because that's pretty high. I mean, I could see them giving him Bonfim, but I don't think that makes the most sense. I think the loser of Gary, Bilal makes the most sense. Sean Brady originally was supposed to fight Ian Gary. Could do a rematch with Bilal, maybe a Joaquin Buckley fight. Shavkat's going to need a fight to come back to. Maybe a Jeff Neal fight. I don't know. There's fights for Sean Brady. There's definitely fights for him. But yeah, let's get to the main event of the evening. If you guys haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Islam Makhachev, pure domination. I didn't think it was going to look this easy. I did not think it was going to look this easy. I thought JDM would have a little bit more success with the scrambles, but I told you guys the control between Islam and Bilal is miles apart. Wrist control, wrap the legs, tie them up. The strength looked completely different. A lot of people were worried about the gas tank from Islam. He looked great for 5 rounds. Just smothered JDM. Had a couple of submission attempts. The dark choke, you look for it early in first round, second round. Takedowns were so easy. Chopping that lead leg kick definitely set everything up. And JDM, he looked like he was just, I don't know. It looked like Hamzat versus DDP, like rinse, wash, repeat, literally. He was unable to see the takedowns coming, but like Islam looked like a hell of a 170er. I'll tell you that much. The double legs were easy. The trips, I told you the trips he was going to go to early into the match. JDM was unable to really get to his feet, and when he did, it was 10 seconds left in the clock. He couldn't really get anything going in the striking. Islam looked like the better striker in there. Head kicks, teeps down the middle. He landed a teep to the face of JDM. JDM had like one moment where he landed like a 3-punch combination in the clinch, but Islam was able to take him down and secure him for the entire round. I think there was only one round where he didn't have a takedown. I think it might have been the second, but Islam, utter domination via wet blanket to complete father's promise. He's better than Khabib. He's better than Conor. He is better than. He's definitely better than Cejudo. I think Islam Makhachev is top 3 fighters of all time. John Jones. I'll go John Jones. John Jones, GSP, Islam. That's how I got it now. Tying Anderson Silva's record, crazy. 2-weight division, crazy. I mean, excuse me, 2-weight champion, crazy. Had the longest title reign at 155. I think Islam Makhachev is top 3. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I definitely think he's top 3. For the way that he was able to run through JDM, a lot of people had a lot of expectations of JDM being able to be the one to beat Islam. I didn't see it, man. I didn't see it. Bilal, like I told you, he's not the grappler that Islam Makhachev is, and he had a terrible game plan. Let me go out there and strike because I don't think I could take him down. Islam Makhachev knew he could take him down, and that's what he did. Made it look easy. Absolute domination, 50-45 on every single scorecard. Didn't even give JDM a moment to have any type of success. JDM looked like he was ready to cry after damn near every round. Islam Makhachev is the man, bro. And he called for a White House title fight. Ooh, I think he's got to be Morales. I think you got to do Michael Morales. I know Usman's sitting in there waiting in the range, but it's like, what have you done for me lately? A decision over Joaquin Buckley, it's, respectable, but you're gonna have to put another name under that resume, man, because you can't just win a decision and get a title shot after what Michael Morales and Carlos Prates just did. So I think Usman's gonna have to fight, probably a Shavkat, the loser of the Gary Bilal fight, if they don't match him up with, a Sean Brady, maybe even a Sean Brady. Usman's gonna have to get another one. He's gonna have to do it before July, so he better get active now because we see when Islam wants to come back. He's got 2 guys to pick out of the hat from, in my opinion. A third possible, but he'll be at the back of the list after next week. Yeah, I like Michael Morales having the best chances to be in Islam right now, but Islam is looking like he can be 29, 30-0. Salute to him for winning. It was an easy, not necessarily an easy pick for me, but easy as far as the breakdown as to why I believed he could win. The control was just completely different, man. Let's go over the picks for the card. So we went 1-0 with Islam, 1-1 with Zhang, 2-0 with Michael, 3-0 with Prates, 4-0 with BSD, 5-0 with Bo, 6-0 with 6-1 with Robocop, 7-1 with Aaron, 7-2 with Ethan, 8-2 with Kyle, 8-3 with Pat, 9-3 with Fatima, 10-3 with Bysinger, and 11-3 with Mateus Camilo. And for the parlays and for the parlays. We hit on a couple solid plays. We hit on the alternate lock, which was BSD and Prates plus 147. The safety play, DAUKAUS and NICKAL minus 123. If you played the WELLMAKER Prates lock of the week earlier into the week, you probably got the push. So that hit. Technically, Prates hit. RoboCop CAMILO BSD plus 270 hit. So we hit a couple parlays, hit a couple straights as well. I was live in my Discord. Let's see what we hit. We got, this was a really good one. Under 2.5 Brady versus Morales plus 105. Morales and under 1.5 plus 500. Let's see, we had Morales money line. We had Prates KO round 1 or 2 plus 250. We had Bo Nickel KO plus 300. Blanchfield sub plus 525. So solid night, man. Solid night in the chat. Solid night on the parlays. The picks were solid, 11-3 overall on the night. UFC 322 on a scorecard, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Definitely delivered. 170 division looks like it's on fire. I'm thoroughly impressed with this fight card, man. We got a really good fight card next week. We're headed to Qatar with Arman Tsarukyan taking on Dan Hooker. I got the full card predictions coming for you guys Monday, so make sure you turn on the post notifications. You already know how the week goes. Full card predictions, lock of the week, weigh-in recap, full card recap. I'm locked in for you guys, so make sure you turn on every notification that you can. Like, share the video, comment, drop a W in the chat. Let me know what was your favorite fighter tonight. What was your favorite fighter that came through for you? What was your biggest bet? Love to hear what you guys got to say. Thank you for supporting as always, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace out.